You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that detects, exposes, and reveals actual and hidden facts, truth, research, and statistics about all the Detroit and Michigan sports teams that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know, whether fans like it or not. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at michigansportstruth.weebly.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. Also listen to us on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes. The Michigan Sports Truth podcast does not represent or defame any of the teams it covers. It only detects, exposes, and reveals honest, actual, and hidden truth, facts, and statistics about them.
And welcome to the Postgame edition for Wednesday, June 20th, 2018. I'm Taylor Phillips, along with Louis Tenore, our national sports reporter. Follow me on Twitter personally at DT2Phillips. Also listen to us here on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes. Which says on the intro now, so I don't have to mention that. Let's get down to it.
That one is long gone!
The Tigers get swept. Yeah, swept by the lowly Cincinnati Reds with a 5-3 decision at the Great American Ballpark. I kid you not. The Tigers, with their stupid rally goose and their old-time manager Ron Garbage Fire, get swept by the worst team in the NL Central, probably still the worst team. Yes, definitely still the worst team in the entire National League, with a 28-45 record in a 2-game series. The Tigers can't beat the Reds? Oh my God. Jeez. That's just embarrassing. My God, the Tigers suck even worse, I bet. You know, it's absolutely just pathetic.
You are pathetic!
The Cincinnati Reds, probably second worst, or third worst, fourth worst actually, to the Baltimore Orioles, who are the worst team in the majors right now with a 20-51 record. 20-51. The Reds, 28-45. The Tigers, 36-39, 11 games back of the wild card. 5 games back now because the Indians won earlier today. $12-0 over the lowly Chicago White Sox at home at Progressive Field. The Tigers are going to get rocked Friday through Sunday at the Cleveland Indians after their day off tomorrow on Thursday. Judas Priest. Heavens to Bitsy. Scooter Gennett, the game-tying 2-run home run in the 6th inning off Michael Fulmer. Former Tiger Eugenio Suarez with a go-ahead solo home run, putting the Reds up 3-2. They went up 4-2 and then 4-3 and then 5-3, and that's how it ended. Heimer Candelario hit his 11th home run of the season. Nico Goodrum hit his 7th of the season. They're both solo home runs. And even though they rallied last night in the 9th inning, a loss is still a loss, as is today. The Tigers still could not pull out a win in either of those 2 games in the 2-game series against the lowly Cincinnati Reds. Taking a look at the Major League Baseball standings furthermore, let me see here. Taking a look on MLB.com on my PC, their road record 13-22. 13-22.
You are pathetic!
13-22 on the road. Lewis, you have to imagine this Tigers team cannot beat the Cincinnati Reds on the road. The Reds are the worst team in the National League, and the Tigers can't even beat them in a single game. My God,
that's pathetic.
Yeah, talk about getting too cocky if you want to win. But Chris Ilitch deserved it. Chris Ilitch deserved the arrogance, and Chris Ilitch deserved it because of the arrogance and his cockiness, the cockiness of the entire organization. From the owner down to the players, with the general manager and manager and assistant coaches in between. That is an entire crap sandwich. My God. The Indians are now 40-33, 7 games above 500. They're getting a little bit better. They've won 4 straight. And they're 24-13 at home. The Tigers 13-22 on the road. I predict a sweep by the Indians over the Tigers this upcoming weekend.
So do I.
Yeah, and Ed Smith and I are going to talk about that later tonight in the midweek edition, episode 10, here on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes. In other news, Red Wings decline left winger Martin Frk's qualifying offer, making him a free agent. That's just typical Ken Holland. That's the other portion of Chris Ilitch not caring about anything. Looks like Marty Frk's on his way out of Detroit. And according to TSN's Bob McKenzie on Twitter at TSN Bob McKenzie, he tweeted, "Don't be surprised if veteran NHL coach Dan Bilesma," Lewis, Dan Bilesma, resurfaces this week behind an NHL bench coach as an assistant coach, and Detroit is the most likely landing spot. And Frank Vajner, one of my news contributors, dug it up a couple hours ago, and he pointed out it could mean that Jeff Blashill is on a short leash. I don't know how he could tell. I'm going to ask him right about now. I believe him, but I still want to know why. But we'll get to that after this.
It's now time for the National Sports Report with Louis Tenore.
Take it away.
Okay, we'll begin now, of course, with the Major League Baseball scores, as we usually do. Starting at the top of the page here, as the Mariners and Yankees are scoreless now, as we are in the bottom of the 3rd inning, 1 out, nobody on. Hernandez is pitching, and Gordon is at bat. We have a delay right now between the Orioles and the Nationals. The Orioles are up 2-0. And another delay, which hasn't started yet. The Brewers and the Padres are waiting their game to start. Day games we had today, of course. The Reds over the Tigers 5-3. Mahale got the win. Fulmer got the loss, and Iglesias got the save. Blue Jays over the Braves 5-4. Cap got the win. Sanchez got the loss, and Tapira got the save. Phillies edged the Cardinals 4-3, or almost got the win. Vila got the loss, and Morgan got the save. Indians blanked the White Sox 12-0. Hoover got the win, and Lopez, he got the loss all right. 12-0. That's embarrassing. Cubs blanked the Dodgers 4-0. Lester got the win, and Stripling got the loss. Athletics over the Padres 12-4. Montez got the win, and Lucas Sherry got the loss. Giants edged the Marlins 6-5. Holland got the win. Urena got the loss, and Montana got the loss. Oh, save. Top one. Red Sox and Indians are just underway. 2 out, nobody on. Lynn is pitching, and Bogarts is at bat. Also, top one. Scores between the Rays and the Astros. 2 out, nobody on. Morton is pitching, and Bowers is at bat.
Who are the Red Sox playing again?
Red Sox playing the Twins. And there's a runner now on second.
Thank you.
Okay. Rangers and Royals just getting underway. And Juntas is pitching, and Chu is at bat. And coming up in about 25 to 30 minutes now, the Mets will take on the Rockies. All right, so now let's go to let's go to the standings first. And they go like this. And it's getting interesting, of course, in the American League East, as usual. The Yankees are 48-22 and have a 1-game lead over the Red Sox, now 49-25. Rays are 15.5 back at 34-39. Also, the Blue Jays are 34-39 at 15.5 back. And at 28.5 back are the Orioles at 20-51. Now, there's a team that has sorry written all over it. Ugh. All right, in the Central, the Indians, 40-33, have a 5-game lead over the Tigers at 36-39. Twins, 6 back at 32-37. At 16 back at the White Sox at 24-49, and the Royals 22-51, 18 back. In the West, Astros are 49-26, have a 2-game lead over the Mariners at 46-27. Angels 39-35, 9.5 back. A's 38-36, 10.5 back, and the Rangers at 31-44, 18 back. In the National League, the Braves are 43-30, a 3-game lead over the Nationals at 39-32. Phillies 3.5 back at 39-33. The Mets 10.5 back at 31-39 as their 3-game winning streak came to an end last night. And the Marlins 29-46 at 15 back. All right, in the Central, interesting situation here. As the Cubs are 42-29, and the Brewers are 43-30, so a virtual tie. But the Cubs are in the lead by 3 percentage points, 592 to 589. Cardinals are 4.5 back at 38-34. Pirates are 36-37, 7 back, and the Reds 28-45 at 15 back. And the West finally. The D-backs are 40-33, have a 2-game lead over the Dodgers at 38-35. Giants are 37-38, 4 back. Rockies are 35-38, 5 back, and the Padres are 7.5 back at 34-42. Okay, so now we'll check the schedule for tomorrow's games, and it's a light schedule, even though it's Thursday, but still a rather light schedule by baseball standards. And the schedule reads like this. For your first day of summer, starting tomorrow, the schedule goes as follows. The Mariners will take on the Yankees at 1:05. The Red Sox will take on the Twins at 1:10. The Mets will take on the Rockies at 3:10. 7:05 games. Orioles take on the Nationals, and the D-backs take on the Pirates. 7:10, the Cubs take on the Reds. 8:10, A's take on the White Sox. And the Cardinals take on the Brewers, also at 8:10. 10:07, the Blue Jays take on the Angels. And at 10:15, the Padres take on the Giants. All right, so in World Cup action, it reads as follows. Portugal over Morocco, 1-0, and Ronaldo scored the winning goal, the only goal in the game. Uruguay over Saudi Arabia, also 1-0, and how about this for a triple threat? Spain over Iran, 1-0. Talk about a triple threat. Okay, tomorrow's schedule, starting again bright and early, reads as this. Leading off at we also have U.S. Open Cup matches here. D.C. is taking on Orlando. Louisville is taking on Nashville. Atlanta is playing Chicago, and Los Angeles Football Club is taking on Sacramento. That's coming up later. All right, so for tomorrow's World Cup schedule, it reads this way. Denmark will take on Australia at 8 a.m. France takes on Peru at 11 a.m. That game was on Fox. Also on Fox is Argentina taking on Croatia at 2. And the 8 a.m. game was on Fox Sports 1. All right, so now we'll go to the headlines of the day. And we read like this. The NHL has announced the home openers for every team this season. The seat that will open with the defending champion Stanley Cup Washington Capitals taking on the Boston Bruins on October 3rd, and will raise the banner that night. It just so happens I happen to have all the team schedules here. To go further, though, Washington did not face the Bruins during its Cup run, but has beaten them 12 consecutive times in regular season play. The Capitals beat the Blue Jackets, Penguins, Lightning, and Golden Knights for their first championship in their 43-year history. Capitals also play back-to-back as they will open the rival Penguins season opener on October 4th and serve as team in the Capitals will open the rival Penguins season on October 4th in Pittsburgh and serve as the road team in one other home opener at New Jersey at October 11th. The NHL announced home openers for all 31 teams today and released the full schedule tomorrow. The Western Conference champion Golden Knights open their second season on October 4th against the Philadelphia Flyers. Oh dear. As previously announced, the Devils will face Edmonton in the team season opener on October 6th in Sweden after finishing up exhibition play in Europe. How do you like that? Just a few weeks after the Stanley Cup run, they've already getting their schedules ready. I like that. Also, tomorrow the NBA draft will begin. You know, I'm afraid to find out who the Knicks are going to get. Oh boy. Continuing on, interesting news about the Tigers here as well. Tigers and Royals will play a regular season game in Omaha the week of the 2019 College World Series. This was confirmed to Mitch Sherman of ESPN today. The joint venture between Major League Baseball and the NCAA to arrange what they're calling a kickoff game was first reported by the Associated Press. They're calling it a kickoff game? I thought it was football. A news conference is scheduled for tomorrow at Ameritrade Park, the host site for the College World Series. And yes, the commissioner is expected to attend. So this should be interesting. All right, continuing on down the line here. Stanford announced that Reed Travis announced he is now transferring to Kentucky and will be able to compete in the 2018-19 season, which is unusual because when a player transfers to another university, they usually have to sit out that first year. But through some arrangement that was made, he will be able to play for Kentucky this upcoming season. Charlotte Hornets agreed to send Dwight Howard for center. Charlotte agreed to send Dwight Howard to the Nets for center Timothy McGuff for a second-round draft pick and cash considerations. The Hornets were determined to move Howard, who has a $23.8 million expiring contract. The Hornets will receive the Nets' second-round pick, which is 45th overall in tomorrow's draft, and second-round pick in the 2021 draft. That according to sources. Musgrove has 2 years and $37.2 million left on his contract. Hornets general manager Mitch Kupuk signed McGuff to a 4-year deal worth $64 million in 2016. The deal will be completed on July 6th. The Nets will need money to expire the salary cap to take on Howard's salary. So they're going to get Dwight Howard. Will it make much of a difference? I don't know. He's a good player, but is he going to be enough? Okay. Slovenian basketball star Luka Doncic has elevated to be the forefront of the Atlanta Hawks in internal discussions on the third overall pick in tomorrow's draft. League sources told ESPN that his evaluation with the Hawks reflects a league-wide belief that DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley III could go as number 1 and number 2 to the Suns and the Kings, respectively. That'll be to open up the draft. According to league sources, if the Kings pass on Bailey, that would complicate the Hawks' ultimate choice for a third-round pick. Doncic stated to separate himself from the discussion around the choice. An examination has included intrigue with Jaren Jackson Jr. League sources say Atlanta remains a target of multiple teams trying to move up in the draft, including the Mavericks, which have also been taking interest in selecting Doncic. League sources say the Hawks have 3 selections in the first round at 3, 19, and 30. The later selections have been included in discussions and have been moved up to select another player in the draft, according to league sources. The kid's good. And Atlanta can use them. You know how bad they are. All right. Spurs coach Greg Popovich traveled to Southern California and met with Kawhi Leonard ahead of tomorrow's draft. League sources tell ESPN for weeks Papa has been working on setting up a meeting with Leonard to discuss the issues that have fractured the franchise's relationship with the NBA board and caused him to make public in the media and his desire to be traded. League sources say Leonard wants to be traded to LA, more so the Lakers and the Clippers. League sources say he has privately maintained that he no longer wants to play with the Spurs and will alert rival teams considering trades for him that his intention is to sign with Los Angeles, where he can become a free agent in 2019. According to league sources, the Spurs are not likely to motivate a deal that the Lakers, that according to the sources. Yeah, I hate to say it, but he's on his way out of the Spurs. Clint Frazier filled in for Brett Garner last night as he missed his 3rd game in a row, as he should have been back by now from his injury. But I believe he is in the lineup tonight, though. Yeah, it's supposed to be a minor injury, but I don't think 3 days. Well, 3 days isn't major, but it's a far cry from what we thought. Dodgers shortstop and center fielder Chris Taylor was removed from today's game against the Cubs for precautionary reasons because of a strained hamstring. It doesn't say left or right hamstring, just says a hamstring. Here is Brett Gardner, he is out of today's lineup. He says his sore knee is feeling better, and that he's going through full pre-game activities today. He took 40 swings in the cage yesterday, and he will be available to pinch hit in the game if needed. Actually, though, he'll be able to start tonight, but will take some more time off. Well, get back in the game soon. Now, this is his fourth consecutive game out. Well. All right, so we'll check on the games now in progress. Right now, the Rangers are leading the Royals 1-0. Runners on first and second, and no out. Junis is pitching, and Gallo is at bat. There's still no score between the Rays and the Astros in the bottom of the first, with 2 out and nobody on. Evaldi is pitching, and Altuve is at bat. Twins now lead the Red Sox 1-0 in the top of the second. No one on, no one out. Wynn is pitching, and Moreland is at bat. Still in a delay with the Brewers and Pirates, as well as the Orioles and Nationals. And it's now, oh dear, Mariners are now leading the Yankees 3-0 in the top of the fourth, 2 out, and a runner on first. Sharif is pitching, and Segura is batting. 3-0 now. Well. All right, so that concludes my notes for the evening. I'll turn back over to you.
All right, we have some more input from Frank Vajner before we sign off. Bilesma is in the final year of his contract, and there was chatter last year that Blashill was on his last legs. Bilesma is a former head coach, so there's a possibility that if there's a shitty start, now I have to edit this and make it explicit. Apologies for that. You'd have a guy, if there's a crappy start, you have a guy who could step in should the axe fall. Frank believes it was last December that Blashill was almost out the door and Tippett was rumored to take over. So, there you go. That being said, closing out, we want to remind everyone to share this episode and our entire podcast on social media and have their friends share that as well, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is in search of a wider audience that is fans of sports, especially our major sports teams in the state of Michigan. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes, its Facebook page, and its Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. For Louis Tenore, I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Thanks very much for listening, downloading, and sharing. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The Michigan Sports Truth podcast does not represent or defame any of the teams it covers. It only detects, exposes, and reveals honest, actual, and hidden truth, facts, and statistics about them.